Okay, great. Input VAT. So input VAT, you expect, the whole idea is that we can claim VAT back on goods that we have purchased for business purposes. And of course, this includes, as you can imagine, the purchase of capital items. The standard is 20%. It's 0% for zero rated, as you can imagine. And we will discuss as well what happens with impaired debt. So typically, there are some things we just cannot recover VAT on. And this we cannot recover except for business purposes, as in 100%. And we'll see an example, like, this is purely trade. But if you just had cars in the business for directors or just company cars, you cannot claim the VAT back. In terms of leased cars, in terms of leased payments, only 50% of the VAT is recoverable. Where are we? Here we are. So, and whenever you have assets with non-business use, we cannot claim the VAT on that, of course. Business entertaining, interesting one. You can claim VAT back on staff entertaining. I mean, it's a supply. So staff. And entertaining overseas customers. So you cannot claim VAT on UK customers entertaining. And if you've lost the receipt, tough. So let's look very quickly at the examples that were given that will help us sort of analyze this matter. So here we have a car that's going to be used by the managing director. It's a car straight away, so you're like, no, just nothing is recoverable. A van is not a car. A van is a business supply needed, so we can claim the VAT on it. It tells us it's VAT inclusive, so that's 17,500 is, if you like, in a way, I need to just basically get a sixth of it, right? Divided by 1.2 times 0.2. So get a sixth of that and you're there. Staff party, totally, yes, but in this case, half of this is to do with non-staff members, so I need to divide that by 2 first of all, and then I can get a sixth of that. That's fine. Entertaining UK, no, just can't do that. And a pool car, this is a business car, purely for business, can be used by everyone. Yes, I can claim back the VAT on that as well. And so that's how these are just little odd ones for you to think about. But typically most goods are going at 20% and we can claim back, which is why they're not testing you, as you can imagine. They're trying to get the little odd ones on that in there. And where are we? Yes, impairment. Again, as you can imagine, you would have, this is really about reclaiming VAT, isn't it? And I'm sure if you've done a VAT return, you've probably come across this, where invoices come through, you have paid over to HMR, you've sent out an invoice, you've paid over the VAT to HMRC, as you should, and then it becomes a bad debt. So the question is, it is unfair that you cannot claim back your money. So the output VAT can be reclaimed if two things must happen: that the debt is at least 6 months old and you have written it off. Then you can claim the VAT back. So in effect, what does this mean? Let's look at an example here. So on the 1st of March, this guy decides to write off 2 debts. So the payment was due on the 1st of June. So he's writing it off on the 1st of March. So we can see clearly that it is 2019. It is greater than 6 months, and he has written it off. So he can claim the VAT back on this. So that must have been 41,046 times a sixth, right? And he can claim that VAT back. Here, this was due on payment for the 1st of December. Yes, he's written it off on the 1st of March, but it hasn't been longer than 6 months. I mean, 6 months is typically the assumed time by which you must write off debt. So technically, for prudence and faithful representation purposes, probably not going to get it back after 6 months, but this is still 4 months, isn't it? Well, and sorry, here are we? December due for payment, so December, January, February, March, so 4 months. So we probably need another 2 months before we can claim the VAT back on that. And that's that. So that's example 10. Cool, great. So no VAT claimable here. You can claim the VAT here. Great. And so please do have a go at example 11. I'll leave that for you. It's not too crazy. I think this is just a chance now for you to kind of exercise what we've just been talking about. But the other two examples kind of help you. Well, you don't have to do it because there are enough kid questions that will test you on this. Okay, great stuff. And that's the end of VAT outline.